Hello, yes, we say a fantastic day to all of you, and how can we be of assistance at this time?
Um, I wanted to talk about relationships today. And the reason is there's someone I know, a friend here, and they had a new relationship that seems to have fallen apart now. Um, and they're looking at things that they did that they could have done better. And I wanted to talk about this pattern of people having relationships and then the relationships falling apart. And I wanted your comments on that for a general public.
Relationships fall apart when couples don't work out their own conflicts, and this isn't possible without working out inner conflicts and becoming self aware, learning how to communicate with compassion and live with compassion, to be empathic and put yourself deeply in the other person's perspective and understand the way they work. So, this is a deep work. And yes, it's true, but when people have really alchemized their own beliefs and gotten in touch with their own patterns and resolved them through their own spiritual or psychological work, they can enter into new relationships and not encounter the same intensity of challenges. But relationships always involve conflicts of interest. And it's a matter of learning how to honor oneself without abandoning or denying the needs of your partner. It's about having a shared vision of what the relationship is and isn't, and honoring that transparently and consistently. And if this is done, relationships can thrive for long periods of time. And that said, there's also the potential that the different souls grow in different directions. Their interest changes, their personality adjusts over periods of time, and eventually there comes to be a time when they are simply no longer a match or compatible without even there being this tension. Because after all, change is the only constant in this universe. And beings, souls, people are constantly changing. So this for some is a natural progression and need not be something wrought with conflict.
What I've noticed in my own life, I changed something very particular, which is that I noticed lots of people are saying, I want this kind of person, I want this kind of person. And I decided I want to be the wanted one. I want to be desirable. I wanted to be the way that I think is good so that the partner will choose me. And I think that's what I've done as I've grown up, grown older and wiser, is I've spent most of my time on myself rather than fussing about the other person. And I think this is possibly good advice. What do you say?
Well, we say that your expectation and your intention creates your results. So you have the intention to be desired and be someone who is desirable. And as you followed the formula and allowed your intention to manifest, so it did. So it does serve in the way that you now have a relationship that is filled with love, though you also see that there is still sometimes challenge. So this is what we will say is that everybody gets the kind of relationship that they ultimately believe they're meant to have. And so you have to look at that at your own beliefs about what relationship is and should be as it reflects what you have manifested. We can also extend this to say if you don't have a relationship, but you believe you need one, you have to look at your own shadow beliefs around your own self worth.
Can you say more on that?
The idea is many people don't have a deep and complete degree of self love, and so that they will seek love from the other person without a way of connecting to love within themselves. And as they do this, they create many challenges that delay their own path of building a healthy connection, because there is a lot of fear that results once when one doesn't have this connection to self-love. When they seek love in others, they will be constantly monitoring for rejection and often projecting onto other people so that they don't fully connect and they don't have the confidence to allow their hearts to open and speak their truth. It manifests in a different way as well, where people don't have that degree of self love, so they don't believe that they deserve a partner who loves them. And so they don't even put themselves in the situation where they might meet such a person, or whenever they feel loved or desired, they hide and shut off. So those who don't develop self love will always find different strategies to keep love away. As they develop self love, then they must go through a path of building relational skills. And as they do that, eventually they will find a relationship. But yes, most souls do this through trial and error. And by believing that everyone is meant to meet the one from a young age, many people make the disappointment on their path much more debilitating.
Hmm. Yes, I forget about the self-love aspect because, I didn't used to, and now I do. I seem to I seem to be very in love with myself. It's quite extraordinary when I think where I've come from. How on earth did I get here?
You started doing what you love and not doubting it afterwards or putting yourself down for doing it.
As I remember, and I think I've talked to you before about this, I used to do the things I love, and I used to get very hurt and damaged. Um, and I think you have said, well, I hadn't quite got the formula, particularly the insistence aspect or something.
Yes, you were insisting that other people loved your act of creation the same way that you did. And when they didn't appreciate it in the same way, you stopped loving it yourself.
Ah, how are people generally? I mean, I know roughly how I am, but I can't presume that I'm representative. How are other people? What range do you see in the personalities of people and how they approach relationships?
There's incredible variety across all different people. For example, cultural differences create a standard that many people follow, though it also creates rebellions and counter reactions specific to each culture, with different relationship styles forming as alternatives to the norm within every different culture around the world. Just as much, there are different personality traits, or what psychology calls neurotypes, that influence the way that people engage in relationships. Just as much, personal taste and aesthetic is defining how people connect and relate in many ways as well. So there's an infinite layer of nuances, of different spectrums that exist within each and every person that affects their relationship styles. And of course, because each person is dynamic and evolving through trial and error, through beliefs, through following their own passion and learning from their mistakes along the way, everybody will experience many different types of relationship styles and progression in their relational evolution, you could say.
There is a lot of regret in people having relationships that fall apart or not finding what they want in so many ways. Can you talk about this thing of regret?
Yes, many people do hold on to wounds of regret and fear based upon their past relationships. Many people never let themselves off the hook, and they don't have integrated the teaching that we share so much about seeing every experience either as a blessing or as an opportunity to learn a lesson, and knowing that you, in a way, needed it to happen because that lesson is what's going to help you evolve so that you are able to overcome the challenge, the hurdle that you experienced in the past, in this instance, in relationships.
On the spaceship of Babel, we are gliding through the stars on a 5-year mission beyond Jupiter and Mars. A celestial encounter on a future Noah's Ark, and you won't hear us coming as we whisper in the dark. There's an Ewok close behind me as we try to disembark here.